Hello and welcome to What to Read Today. I have made a detour from the usual books I bring, so books that looks at or that has stories of people who have been involved in an accident or have been involved in a very tragic situation. Today's book is one that details the life of a young woman who by herself decided this life, this situation that I've got, my family, my siblings, my relatives, it's not one for me. I want different, I want better. And how she decided to back herself up and come out better, come out on top. The book is titled Trauma Facade. Sometimes trauma is silent. It's written by Kimberley Leadbeater. I read this book in a day, in a single day. I just couldn't stop. I couldn't stop reading. Mostly because this is a story about a life I'm not familiar with. I know it exists. I see people around who I suspect live this life. Sometimes you see people by the bus stop or around the shopping complexes looking beat down. You see children in what may be dirty clothing and around parents who are smoking. I do know these people exist. I do know this sort of life exists. It's not my story. But to have someone write down what it first question, how does a young lady of about 8 years old, 9, 10, 11, live with her mom who works in a brothel? Okay. And she goes to school every day from there. Every day for many years. And this young lady decides, no, I don't want this. The drinking, the drugs, the sex, the prostitution. I don't want any of this. While reading this book, I constantly asked myself, how did she come to this realization? Because in the book, she detailed how her older sister, her older brother all fell into the negative lifestyle. Alcohol was a problem for her dad, for her mother, for her brother, for her sister. The brother went so many times to jail, spending years and even missing out on the birth of his children. Kimberly, truthfully, also mentioned some of the pitfalls she herself encountered, some of the relationships she got into, she had no business being into. But ultimately, she made a U-turn. Ultimately, she decided I can do better and I will do better. So this book is for anyone wanting that sort of insight as to how some parts of society or some people within our world, within our society live in a way that is really heartbreaking, especially for children. I was most touched by the fact this is what is the reality of a lot of children all over the world, where their parents, again, due to circumstances, are involved in some negative activities and the children are brought up in that activity. Kimberly talked about having bikies as her parents' friends, as a regular feature in their home, having young women involved in prostitution as a regular feature in their home, and just being exposed to that life at a very young age. This is a good read. I did enjoy it. It's not so much of a tragedy. Someone had an accident or someone fell sick and had a terminal diagnosis and the things like that. This is Kimberly saying, this is my story. This was how I was brought up. And I turned my life around and I found someone. I got married and I created a home for myself. I got a decent job. this is a good read. I will recommend this book for anyone wanting to see how by yourself you can decide, I can do better and go for it. Okay? As usual, I ask if you've got a book you read, a memoir that's just, touched your heart and you think I should read it, please let me know. I'm always on the lookout for good books to read, memoirs, stories about people, about their lives, how they turned their lives around, or just inviting us to see an alternate worldview. If you have one of these books, please do let me know. And until next time on What to Read, you take care, stay well. I'll see you. Bye.